And then there is also this question of recess appointments. So do you think that Trump is likely to have to resort to the recess appointments? And how does that actually work? What really is a recess appointment?
Yeah, so I think in some instances, if we get to a point of deadlock within the Senate and you've got essentially 4 votes that won't budge, remember we have 53 Senate seats. If it's a 50-50 tie, Vice President-elect Vice President Vance will break that tie and the nomination will go through. But if we can't get to that 50 vote threshold, we're going to have to resort to recess appointments. So there's a constitutional provision that allows the president to temporarily appoint somebody to a cabinet position or an office to appointed position, that essentially they're allowed to remain in that state. The Senate has to be recessed for 10 days. So they have to require a minimum of 10 days. And if they're out for more than 10 days, the president can fill a vacancy. And that person serves until the end of the next Congress, until the start of the next Congress, which roughly rolls out to about a calendar year. Now, that in theory can be extended for another 210 days because that person can then be made acting, whatever position they're appointed to. So in the case of like Matt Gaetz, let's say, he would then become acting attorney general. And that's under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. So because he was appointed, and this gets really tricky because technically they're supposed to be Senate confirmed, but we have a ruling from the DOJ dating back to 2002 under George W. Bush involving Eugene Scalia as the Solicitor of Labor. And Scalia was a recess appointment. And then he was made acting, and the OLC, the Office of Legislative Counsel for the Department of Justice, ruled that Eugene Scalia could then serve as acting under the Vacancies Reform Act, the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. So you could serve another 210 days. So you can pretty much get almost 2 years out of a nominee before they really do have to come up for Senate confirmation. And there's also, Jeff Clark was talking about this, who's the former acting Attorney General of the United States, served at the very end of the Trump administration. He was acting. The president can actually adjourn Congress and force them into a recess if the two houses, if the House and the Senate disagree about the timing or the length of an adjournment or a recess. And so he can then set how long they will be out. So if we can set this up and say the House of Representatives and move for a recess, even if the Senate doesn't want to, if the two disagree, the president can theoretically adjourn them. That hasn't happened in a long time, but it is in theory doable.